Many times we think of a greeting as just a polite habit, something you do automatically. You say, hey, maybe hug, maybe wave, maybe flash a smile and move on like it's no big deal. But when you slow down for just a second, when you actually pay attention to that moment, it becomes so much more than just manners. Because, my friends, that tiny sliver of time, that's not routine, that's a reveal. A man's greeting tells you things his words haven't caught up to yet. It's not just his voice saying hi, it's his body saying, I feel something. It's the emotional truth peeking through the cracks before he's even had time to pull his mask on. That's why we're here, to decode that moment, because if you know how to watch for it, how to feel into it, you'll know if he's just being polite or if deep down he's fascinated by you. So before we go deeper, do this for yourself. Hit that like button, subscribe, and stay with me to the end. Because what we're about to uncover, it's not just about signs, it's about soul signals. And I promise you, after this, you'll never see a hello the same way again. Now, hey ladies, imagine this. You're at a party. You didn't dress up for anyone. You're just feeling good in your own skin. You walk through the door, and across the room, he sees you. He's mid-sentence, mid-sip, mid-whatever, and suddenly he pauses. His shoulders drop. His smile stretches just a little wider than normal. Maybe his eyes stay on you half a second too long. Maybe he fidgets. Maybe he straightens his shirt. All of it silent, all of it involuntary. And that's not manners, that's magnetism. Carl Jung, yes, we're going there, once said, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there's any reaction, both are transformed. Well, that greeting, that's the spark, that's the reaction. That's where the transformation begins. Not with big declarations, not with a love confession, but with a shift in energy so subtle, most people miss it, but you won't. Because here's the truth, in those first few seconds, his unconscious makes the first move. His conscious mind may still be catching up. He might not even realize why he suddenly feels warmer, more alert, a little off his rhythm, but his body knows, his energy knows, his heart, even if he doesn't say a word, knows. And it's in that moment that you get to glimpse what's really going on inside. This video is about that moment, about learning how to feel into that emotional scan that happens every time he sees you. And it's not just about what he does, it's also about how you show up. Because when you walk into the room with intention, not performance, with stillness, not striving, with that quiet confidence that says, I'm not here to be chosen, I know I'm the choice, then everything changes, his energy shifts, the connection deepens, and you don't have to say much to be unforgettable. So stay with me, my friends, because we're going to unpack the 8 emotional signals hidden in a man's greeting, the way he looks at you, speaks to you, stands near you. You're about to learn how to read the room in a way most women never do. Not from fear, not from trying to win him, but from a place of awareness, from a place of power. And if you're in a relationship or about to be, these signs will help you keep that spark alive in the smallest moments. Because in love, the smallest moments, they speak the loudest. Let's begin. Number 1, his body speaks before he does. The body whispers what the heart can't yet admit. Let that settle in, my friends, because when it comes to attraction, real, soul level, I can't stop thinking about you attraction, the first truth doesn't come from his mouth. It comes from his body. Before he ever says hello, he's already said everything. Now I know what you might be thinking, but how can I know what he feels if he doesn't say it? You've probably had those moments where you're left wondering if he's just being friendly or if something deeper is going on beneath the surface. Is he into me? Is he just nice? Is this real or am I reading into it? That uncertainty, that gray space, it can drive you crazy. But here's the truth that will free you. His body speaks first. Always. Even before his brain has a chance to form a thought, his posture, his tone, the look in his eyes, the way he shifts his weight, all of it is already reacting to you. And if you know how to read that language, you'll never have to guess again. Let me paint it for you. You walk into a room, confident, calm, radiant in your own rhythm. Maybe it's a restaurant, maybe it's a friend's gathering. You don't even see him at first, but he sees you. And in that single moment, he straightens his back just a little. His chest rises slightly, his shoulders relax, but not too much. His voice, if he's speaking to someone else, dips into a different tone, slower, deeper, more grounded. He shifts his stance, leans in your direction like a plant leaning towards sunlight. That's not choreography. That's not manners. That's instinct. Carl Jung taught us that the unconscious doesn't wait for permission. It expresses through symbols, gestures, energy. And in attraction, the body becomes the soul's first translator. His conscious mind might still be catching up, still calculating what to say, how to act. But the body already knows. The body reacts before the brain approves. And ladies, here's the beautiful part. He can't fake it. He might control his words. He might play it cool, but his physiology doesn't lie. If his body adjusts the second he sees you, that's not coincidence. That's chemistry. That's his emotional system bracing for impact, because you don't greet fire the same way you greet a breeze. And when he sees you, his whole system reacts like your heat. Now here's where the fear might creep in. You might be thinking, but what if I miss it? What if I overthink it? What if I misread it again and get hurt? That's real. I hear you. But this time, we're not leaning on guesses. We're not falling for words with no weight behind them. We're tuning in to the language that never lies. You're about to sharpen your emotional radar, not to chase validation, but to understand what's actually unfolding in front of you. And I want you to remember this. Attraction doesn't always announce itself with big fireworks. Sometimes it arrives in a subtle shift of his shoulders, a glance that lingers a beat too long, a nervous fidget he doesn't even notice. Those are the signs. That's the soul signaling through the skin. So the next time you see him, don't just listen to what he says. Watch how he adjusts. Does he lean in? Does his voice soften? Does his breath catch for just a second? Does his energy feel like it's trying to come closer, even if his feet stay still? Because that's the gold, my friends. That's where truth lives. And if you see it, if you feel it, don't second guess it. Just smile, hold your presence, stay grounded, because the woman who knows how to read energy doesn't need to ask what it means, and she knows it. Now stay with me, because what's coming next is even more revealing. We're about to talk about the eyes, the windows to everything he's not saying out loud. Because when fascination is real, it's not just in how he stands, it's in how he sees you. Number 2, the eyes will confess before the lips do. The gaze is the soul's fingerprint. It's the look that lingers a little too long, the one that feels like it reached into your chest and left something behind. My friends, if the body speaks first, the eyes speak loudest, and not with volume, with depth, because when a man is truly fascinated by you, his gaze won't just glance, it will stay. And in that stillness, it speaks volumes. Jung said the unconscious reveals itself in images. That's why the eyes are so important. They're both a projector and a receiver. When a man looks at you with that quiet intensity, what he's really doing is downloading the emotional imprint you leave on him. And whether he knows it or not, his gaze is telling a story. Have you ever locked eyes with someone and it felt like time slowed, like the noise around you faded out just for a moment? That's not a scene from a movie. That's biology meeting soul recognition. You felt it because he felt it too. Now let's make this practical. You walk in. Maybe you're not even looking for him, but he sees you and something shifts in his expression. His eyes pause. They study, not to judge, not to evaluate, but to remember. They don't dart around. They anchor. If his gaze flickers from your face to your smile to your hair and then back again, and it's soft, warm, maybe a little hesitant, he's not just looking, he's absorbing. That's not curiosity, that's gravity. And here's the real tell. When you catch him looking, does he look away quickly, embarrassed? Or does he meet your gaze and hold it for a second longer than usual? That second is everything. That's where the emotional resonance lives. Because the man who's genuinely interested doesn't just want to see you. He wants to feel something through you. And the sparkle in his eyes, that's not a trick of the light. That's your energy reflecting back at him. That's the part of you he didn't know he was looking for until you showed up and made his nervous system whisper, pay attention. Now don't confuse this with staring. Staring is cold, vacant, disconnected. But that soft gaze, the one that's warm, focused, slightly vulnerable, that's where the unconscious comes alive. That's where real connection forms before a single word is spoken. So the next time he looks at you like that, don't doubt it. Don't shrink. Don't look away like you don't matter. Look back, smile, let him feel you. Because in that moment, you're not just the woman in front of him. You're the one he'll replay in his mind when he's alone, wondering what it is about you that feels so familiar, so calming, so magnetic. And stay with me, because next we're going deeper into the signals that follow the gaze, the little shifts in movement, posture, and tone. Because when a man's energy starts pulling towards you, it's not a choice, it's a response. Number 3, micro movements equals massive messages. A man may not say much, but if he shifts toward you like you're magnetic, you are. There's something electric about the moments in between, not the big declarations, not the compliments, but the micro movements, the shifts so small you almost miss them until you feel their impact deep in your gut. Because, my friends, unconscious attraction doesn't always come charging through the front door. Sometimes it tiptoes in, through the way his body leans a little closer, the way his feet angle towards you instead of the exit, the way his shoulder tilts ever so slightly in your direction, like he's trying to catch more of your energy without even realizing it. This is what Jung would call the unlived emotion, the truth sitting just beneath the surface, waiting for a way to express itself. He might not even know why he shifts toward you, but his body does, his unconscious does. His inner world feels the pull before his mind can rationalize it. Picture this. You're both at a table, maybe with friends, casual setting. He's not saying anything overly flirty. He's not trying to make a move, but then his chair scoots just a little closer. His knees angled toward you. His hand rests near yours on the table. He doesn't touch, but he doesn't pull away either. These aren't random gestures. These are gravitational clues. Because attraction, real emotional embodied attraction, always wants proximity. It wants to close the gap. The unconscious mind doesn't chase what it doesn't crave. So if he's slowly moving into your space, he's being pulled, not by strategy, not by charm, but by something he may not even be able to name. And don't ignore the little fidgets either. The way he touches his shirt collar, adjusts his watch, shifts his weight from foot to foot when you walk into the room. These aren't signs of indifference. They're signals of internal tension. His body is reacting to your presence, trying to self-regulate, trying to play it cool, but failing beautifully. Think of it like this. When you throw a pebble into a perfectly still lake, the surface doesn't scream, but it ripples. And when you walk into his world with your presence, your poise, your quiet power, you create ripples. His body is the water. You're the impact. Now I know what you might be thinking. But what if he's just being polite? My friend, politeness doesn't shift someone's entire orientation. If he moves closer, again and again, gently, naturally, that's not manners. That's magnetism. And here's the real test. Does he do this around others, or does his energy shift uniquely in your presence? Because when a man starts breaking his own invisible barriers for you, when he shortens the space, not with words, but with instinct, you're not just someone he notices. You're someone his system is adjusting for. So don't chase the words. Read the movement. Because the man who doesn't say much, but leans in like he can't help it, he's telling you everything you need to know. And next, we're looking at the smile, but not just any smile, the one that breaks through before he even knows it's there, the kind that says, you just made my whole nervous system light up. Stay with me. Number 4, the smile he didn't plan to give. When it hits him, it shows in his face before he even says hello. Ah, that smile. You know the one I'm talking about. The one he didn't plan, didn't practice, didn't even realize was coming. It just happened. My friends, the truth is simple. A man can fake a conversation, but he can't fake that kind of smile. Not the one that shows up the second he sees you, not the one that takes over his face before his brain can catch up. And that's not hello, that's his nervous system lighting up. And I want you to look for one thing in particular, the eyes. Because when it's real, when the attraction is honest and visceral, his eyes will crinkle, his cheeks will rise, his whole expression will soften, stretch, and light up like something in him recognizes something in you. Scientists call this the Duchenne smile. It's not the polite, forced version we flash at strangers. It's the kind of smile that's biologically linked to joy, emotion, authenticity. And here's the magic. He doesn't even know he's doing it. Let's say you're walking toward him. You're not even talking yet. And then you see it. That flash, that smile that spreads across his face before a word's been said. That right there is emotional chemistry overriding control. He may try to compose himself afterward. He may try to pull it back. But by then, the truth has already leaked out of him. His body just exposed what he's trying to keep cool. Because fascination doesn't always shout. Sometimes it just smiles first. Denzel would put it like this: that smile, that ain't hello, that's I felt something. Now maybe you're wondering, what if he's just being friendly? And sure, some smiles are social, habitual, polite. But here's how you'll know the difference. The social smile is quick, surface level. It ends as fast as it begins. But the real smile, the emotional one, it lingers, it spreads, it pulls his whole face into the feeling, and it doesn't stop at his lips. His body follows. He might straighten up, chuckle for no reason, rub the back of his neck, or even fumble over his words. Why? Because you unsettled him. In the best way. That smile was his soul slipping through the cracks, unfiltered, and now his system is trying to play catch-up. That's a gift. That's your impact. And don't underestimate it, because long after you've walked away, he'll remember how you made him feel in that first split second, that unguarded joy, that spark he couldn't contain, that flash of truth he couldn't rehearse. So when you see that smile, the real one, smile back. Hold eye contact. Let the moment stretch. You've already made an impression before the conversation even started. And stay with me, because next we're diving into the pause, that moment just before he speaks, where everything hangs in the air, that moment where silence isn't empty, it's sacred. Let's go deeper. Number 5, the pause before he speaks. Real presence doesn't rush, it reveres the moment. There's a certain kind of silence that says more than any word ever could. It's not awkward. It's not accidental. It's charged. And my friends, when a man is truly fascinated by you, you'll notice it in the pause. Not the kind that happens because he doesn't know what to say. The kind that happens because he feels something and his body just asked his brain, what do we do now? It's that moment. You walk in, your energy hits the room like warm thunder, and he sees you. There's a flicker, a beat. He doesn't speak right away. He doesn't crack a joke or jump into conversation like he's rehearsed it. No, he pauses, he stops. And in that second of stillness, everything is speaking. Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. That pause, that's exactly that moment. The unconscious rising to the surface, dragging emotion behind it like an anchor. His body felt something. His energy shifted. Now his brain is trying to catch up to the truth, and that truth is you. He didn't pause because he's awkward or unsure or distracted. Denzel style, he didn't freeze because he's lost. He paused because something real just walked in the room. You might be tempted to fill that silence, crack a joke, break the tension, ease the moment, but don't. That pause is precious. It's the space where chemistry gets acknowledged. That's when the attraction moves from instinct to awareness. That beat of reverence tells you one thing loud and clear: you had impact. Think of it like this: when lightning strikes, there's a moment before the thunder. The air goes still, the world holds its breath. That pause, that's the body registering power, and that's exactly what he's doing, registering the force of your presence. Watch his eyes, his mouth, his hands. In that moment of pause, he might blink slower. His lips might part like he had something to say, but forgot. His fingers might twitch slightly, as if deciding whether to reach toward you or hold back. That's not indecision, that's emotional overload. And maybe it only lasts a second, but that second is everything. That's where he's seeing you, not just with his eyes, but with his awareness. He's feeling something that doesn't have words yet, but it will. So the next time you notice a pause like that, don't rush it. Let it breathe. Let it burn a little. Let him stand in the ripple of your energy and remember what it feels like to be affected. Because real presence doesn't need to perform. It lets the moment speak for itself. And what's coming next? Oh, it's powerful. We're talking touch. Not the obvious kind, but the subtle gestures that carry more emotion than any pickup line ever could. The kind of touch that says, I'm drawn to you and I don't even know why. Stay with me, it only gets deeper. Number 6, the touch that carries meaning. When the heart speaks, the hand follows. Touch. It's one of the oldest languages we know. And when it's real, when it's driven by emotion instead of impulse, it doesn't shout. It whispers. It lingers. It says what he can't say out loud. My friends, when a man is fascinated by you, his body will look for a way to stay close, even if his mouth stays silent, and it almost always shows up in the most subtle, beautiful form of expression. Touch that carries meaning. I'm not talking about the obvious stuff, not the arm around the shoulder move or anything flashy. I'm talking about the emotional echoes, the way his hand might gently brush yours when he's handing you something, the way his fingers linger an extra second on your back during a goodbye hug, the way he places his hand on your shoulder when he laughs, and you feel something in that small gesture that goes way beyond friendly. These aren't accidents. They're attempts to extend the moment, to make the connection feel more real, more grounded, without having to speak it into existence just yet. Because here's the truth, the body becomes the messenger of unsaid feelings. Carl Jung once said, loneliness doesn't come from having no people around, it comes from being unable to communicate the things that matter most. And that's exactly what this kind of touch is. A silent communication, a test balloon of closeness, his body reaching toward you because his heart is searching for meaning in a moment where words would just get in the way. Think about it. Why do we touch? Not just physically, but emotionally, because we want to say, I feel you. I want to be closer to this. I want to stay in this space just a little longer. And even if he's not fully aware of it, when a man's fascinated, his body starts expressing what his mouth is still figuring out. You might notice that he touches you differently than others, more gently, more consciously. Maybe it's the way he guides you through a crowd with a hand on your lower back. Maybe it's how he leans in during conversation, elbow lightly brushing yours, and he doesn't pull away. That's not strategy. That's instinct trying to create intimacy. The hands speak a language the mouth's too scared to say. And sometimes the most powerful signals come not from how he touches you, but how he reacts after. Does he smile? Relax? Does his energy warm up? That's a sign he's found a moment of connection, that he got to say something, even if only through the brush of his fingers. So don't underestimate those small moments, those seemingly meaningless contacts. They're loaded with feeling. They're his way of telling you, I don't want to leave this moment. I don't want to step away from this connection. And what's coming next, it's not about movement, it's not about sound, it's about what happens after all of that fades, the moment where nothing is said, nothing is done, and yet everything lingers. And stay with me. We're about to enter the space where silence does what noise never could. Number 7, you leave a mark when you greet like a queen. The way you enter the moment determines how long you stay in his memory. Let's flip the lens now, my friends, because we've talked about how he responds when he's fascinated by you, his eyes, his body, his voice, his hands. But what about you? What energy do you bring into the moment? Because the truth is, your greeting is not just an introduction, it's a declaration. A woman who knows who she is doesn't just walk into a room, she arrives. And when she greets a man with intention, with softness, with that grounded power that doesn't try to prove, doesn't try to please, she leaves a mark. She becomes unforgettable, not because she tries, but because she's real. This is not about performance, this is about presence. Imagine this, you walk into a space and see him. You don't rush, you don't overthink it. You let your energy move before your mouth does. You smile, not because you're hoping he likes you, not because you're trying to earn his gaze, but because you're already full, already glowing, already rooted. Your greeting doesn't say, pick me, it says, I already belong here. Denzel would say it like this, you don't walk in like a question, you walk in like the answer. And that, my friend, is how queens enter moments. Not with ego, but with ease, with elegance, with the kind of energy that says, I know who I am, I know what I bring, and I don't have to be loud to be felt. Because here's what most people don't understand. Men don't remember the clever line. They remember the feeling. The woman who greeted them like she saw something more in herself than just how she looked. The woman whose smile didn't beg, it blessed. The woman who said hello like she was meeting him, not trying to impress him. That kind of greeting, it becomes his emotional anchor. He might go on with his day, he might take that meeting, answer those emails, run those errands, but your presence, your hello, it's already in him, it stays, it lingers, not because you tried to hook him, but because you didn't need to. Because when a man meets a woman who greets him from a place of full feminine power, not the loud, flashy kind, but the deep, calm, radiant kind, he doesn't just see her, he feels chosen by her energy. So the next time you see him, don't overthink the moment. Don't greet him like you're waiting to be seen. Greet him like you already know you're unforgettable, because the way you enter the moment is the way you stay in his mind. And next, we're going into the silence that follows, the most misunderstood piece of it all, that moment after the greeting when you say nothing, but your presence still speaks. Stay with me. The real magic is just starting to breathe. Number 8, the silent moment after equals the loudest truth. If you wait for his reaction, you miss the point. Let the silence carry the spark. Now we've reached the part most women skip, the after, the moment right after the hello, after the smile, after the touch, after the glance. And here's the truth, my friends. This moment, it's the loudest one of all. Because what you do after the greeting, how you carry yourself, how you hold your energy, that's what determines whether he remembers you or forgets you. This is where attraction becomes imprint. Too often, women greet with beauty, with light, with authenticity, and then they chase with their voice, with their energy, with that tiny hidden need for reassurance. Did it land? Did he like me? Did he notice? And just like that, the magic unravels. But the woman who knows her power, she lets the spark breathe. She practices what I call the drop it and walk principle. You don't overdo, you don't explain, you don't linger awkwardly. You say it, mean it, and move like you trust it already landed. Because here's what you must understand. Your presence is the message. It doesn't need repetition. It doesn't need commentary. It just needs space. Space to echo in his chest. Space to rise into his memory. Space to linger without force. Denzel style, say it, mean it, leave it. If it landed, it'll linger. And trust me, if it did land, he'll feel it long after the moment passes. He won't even know why, but later that night something will replay in his mind. The way you looked at him, the way your voice felt calm, steady, and sweet, the way you smiled and didn't look back for approval. That's power, quiet, subtle, unshakable. Jung once said the unconscious doesn't need language. It responds to symbol, energy, stillness. And in that silence after the greeting, that's what you're offering him. A symbol of calm confidence, an energy that doesn't grasp, a stillness that invites him to step forward on his own. Let that be your signature. Because when a woman greets from a place of fullness, then walks away without needing a thing, she becomes unforgettable. Not because she did too much, but because she left space for him to feel her absence. So next time, don't fill the silence. Don't fidget. Don't force the moment to stretch beyond its natural shape. Just breathe, smile, stay still, and let the silence carry the spark you already lit. Because that's where the truth lives, in the space between what's said and what's still settling in his system. And if you've been here this whole time, my friend, if you felt something shift inside you while we've unpacked this, hit that like button, subscribe. Not just for the next video, but for the next version of you. Because now you don't just know how to greet him, you know how to be remembered. So here's where we land, my friends. That greeting, the look, the pause, the smile, the touch, the silence, it's never just a routine. It's a window into his unconscious, and now you know how to read it. You're not just showing up, you're leaving an imprint. You're not chasing connection, you're commanding presence. If this stirred something in you, if it gave you clarity or confidence, press that like button, hit subscribe, and share this with a woman who deserves to feel unforgettable. Because you're not just learning how to attract love, you're becoming the kind of woman love remembers. Stay radiant.